I am GL, your host, and we're going to start off a little different today after these gentlemen introduce themselves because G is going to be here early and leave us late. We're going to go DFS and restart and Dynasty start and sit. So, gentlemen, introduce yourselves, please.
Hi, Jared Riccadonna. You can find me under Twitter, Rico_3733. This is fourth week as I missed last week, so a little bit of work-related stuff. So good to be back this week.
Gotta go take care of Ryan Tannehill. Don't lie.
I figured I'd be up for some kind of roast from someone, so it's earned. Go ahead, keep going.
Not a road. Gotta take care of more important stuff. That's great, man. I'm Gerson, or call me Fantasy G, or just call me G. I do the DFS stuff. This week is a very crazy week already with 2 games being basically postponed. I'm pretty sure they're going to postpone the second one too. But I don't know how you guys feel, but it's just crazy already.
So anything with less football is saddening and demoralizing, in my opinion.
The Denver-New England game is postponed. They will not be playing this week. What do you think? The Tennessee game is going to be postponed, Gerson?
I do because I think they said around there's one more positive test for the Titans. So that positive test hasn't been told who it is. And I think just with it, one more positive test, they're just going to postpone it. Or they're actually probably going to make the Titans forfeit, I believe. Because they got investigated by the NFL. They turned tape over and everything. There were players in the weight room not wearing masks. Like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, in the weight room, how do you not wear a mask? I mean, men are sweating, you know, they're like, I don't know. I mean, when I work out, I'd be like growling, like, you know, like, slob and like germs. Like, you know. And then I guess players and coaches weren't wearing their masks when they were walking around the facility too. So I wouldn't be shocked if they forfeit that game.
And probably forfeit draft picks, really. I think there's strict protocol for that, but I digress.
I think Julio got ruled inactive, so let me double check that. Because that's the biggest news we're looking for this week, right, Julio?
Julio. Yeah. Even if would you play him? Because he's been a decoy for like 2 weeks.
He's not playing. He's inactive. They just announced it. So he's inactive. So that makes Olamide Zaccheaus $3,000 on DraftKings. Probably a top play now because he's $3,000 and he's going to get targeted in that Panthers game. It looks like Lamar's going to play. Marquise Brown's going to play. And those are the big ones coming out right now. But I'll look out for more if we see anything.
Yeah, don't even tell me about playing Ridley because I played him in DFS last week and never again. So that was enough for me.
I'm gonna tell you this: in DFS, you live and die. So you move on next week. We're like Bill Belichick here. We just next game, next week. You know, like don't hold grudges. I'm telling you that right now. I've learned the hard way too. I've lost a lot of money holding grudges. So. But then I also won a lot of money forgive and forget, you know?
I saw your post from last week. You took 2 players out and just missed hitting big.
Yeah. So 10 minutes before roster lock, I do my single entrance. And my single entrance I had in it's called the Power Suite, which is 100,000 to first. I switched out Joe Mixon and Rams defense to Buccaneers and I have a love affair for Jonathan Taylor, so that hurt me. And that's what really got me. I wanted Jonathan Taylor. Yeah, and that switch alone, I profited from $1,500 to, it would have been $100,000 to $1,500. But I can't complain. That's good money after a week, you know, for doing it as your side job. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, well, and that was playing with your heart instead of your head, Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon.
So.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I promised the people from my Facebook group, also other people I tweeted out and whatnot, and I said that I do a core 5. So I give a core 5 of players of who I'm playing this week, but I can't complete the roster for you because that's against the DraftKings policy and FanDuel policy because they find out who I am, they can ban me from DraftKings and FanDuel because that's giving out lineup. So I'll give the 5 right now.
Okay.
Quarterback is Dak Prescott. Running back is, I have 2 of them. It's Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
And James Robinson. At wide receiver is Zach. Oh, man, I can't say his name. Olamide Zacchaeus. He's 3,000. So you have to go
wide receivers, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, hold on, I have tight end is Darren Waller. So I like those 5 guys. So once again, actually it's at 4 so far, huh? Ooh, where's my? Oh,
it gets complicated after 4, G.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb. So CeeDee Lamb, Zacchaeus, Darren Waller, Dak Prescott, and the 2 running backs, which is Hunt and
Robinson.
Those are my GPP play. On FanDuel, it's basically the same play, except for I wouldn't play Zacchaeus. I'd probably go with another running back, so play Zeke, because you can fit in. FanDuel is a joke. Like, it's so easy to make a roster over there. It's crazy. But yeah, put Zeke in there, try to fit him in. But I love all those 5 guys, so I'm gonna have a lot of exposure to them. I'm kind of worried about Zacchaeus though. Like, I don't want the same thing of what happened to me last week with Troutman, but I can't see him not getting targeted. And yeah, Taysom Hill's not on that team, so screw him.
What's your value plays, G, as far as for the money then? Like that would be, maybe it sounds like your ceiling. What would be the value picks for, like, just make budget to get another player that I would really want, so to speak?
I think Zacchaeus is going to be the guy that's going to get you that value play to get everyone. Like, I'm telling you, like, on all my single entrants, at least 8 of my 21 single entrants has Zacchaeus in it, and it's probably going to go higher after now. The reason why I did show up earlier today, because I want 1 hour of making roster now. 30 minutes wasn't enough. But Zacchaeus now with Julio inactive, that's a big time value. The other guy I like is Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah,
he's so cheap. He's 6,800 on DraftKings. I mean, he's just. I get it. Like, he hasn't gone where you guys wanted, like the points, right? Like 12 points, 18 points, 13 points. I mean, 22 points is nice, but this is the game. I mean, like, I'm telling you, he's going to have like a 25-point game. I have him projected for 23 points. It's crazy because usually you would have like a $4,000, $5,000 running back that's like the top value, No, it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's my number 1 top value. But quarterback, Daniel Jones. I mean, he's incredible at that price he has and the situation he's going to be in. Now, we played everybody against the Dallas Cowboys like almost every week. The Dallas Cowboys, the Atlanta Falcons, right? But I'm a little worried about the Giants not being good enough as other teams are. But with what's his name, Daniel Jones, I think from here and on for the rest of the season, we're going to be talking about him a lot because he's going to be on a lot of good spots.
So what 3 games are you targeting, G?
Atlanta Panthers, the Dallas Giants, and Vegas, and Kansas City Chiefs. Actually, no. Let's switch to another one. Let's go to Houston and Jacksonville Jaguars.
For stacks? Instead of Kansas City or instead of
Dallas? I don't like the Raiders too much this week. I honestly believe the Kansas City Chiefs defense is really good, and people underrate them because, well, the Kansas City Chiefs offense that everybody wants to watch, right? So,
right.
But I think Kansas City Chiefs defense is pretty good. But I'd rather go to the other game where I know both sides are going to score points. And if you guys have been playing DraftKings, you know for a fact that you correlate your quarterbacks in game stacks. So if you're playing Daniel Jones, you're going to play Slayton, or as my buddy likes to call him, Slaytron. So it'd be Slayton, Daniel Jones, what's his name, Ingram, and then you bring it back with Amari Cooper, CD, or those two, or Gallup. But here's my opinion on those wide receivers for the Cowboys. James Bradbury is going to be on Amari Cooper. Tough matchup, and we already know that Cooper is like allergic to good cornerbacks. I don't know why. The guy always just puts out like crap game. Michael Gallup will be very low owned because, well, nobody likes him. They look at his box score and they look at his player profile and they say, oh wow, he only got like one target or something like that. But he could go off. But I love CD Lamb. I've been a big CD Lamb. Like I got a lot of pushback when I had CD Lamb number 4 on my dynasty ranking rookie. And also, I said that he was better than Jerry Jeudy. But, I mean, I just like his situation so much more.
Yeah, interesting takes. I know with Edwards-Helaire, that's one of my favorite plays just for the fact that the Raiders have already allowed 8 rushing touchdowns to running backs and 5 yards per carry to running backs. So if this is the week for Edwards-Helaire to go off, this would be the one for sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't Edwards-Helaire have a hard time getting into the end zone, though? Isn't he like, aren't his stats really bad for end zone touchdowns?
Okay, so hold on. Let me pull up my. It's just they're ranked like 30th in DVOA and 30th in DVP, defensive points. So like overall, just gonna make this game. I mean, they have a 32-point implied total. I mean, they're supposed to win by more than 13 points, I believe.
Right.
Last time I checked, or something like that. It's at Kansas City. I mean, I think Kansas City is only one of the few stadiums that have fans. So, I just can't see. Mahomes has killed the Raiders. The Kansas City Chiefs had actually, sadly. But yeah, I am wearing Raiders jersey. I should just take it off, huh?
Imposter. Here we go again. He's pretending.
Yeah. But I think there's a couple plays that I like. At the quarterback, 5 guys I have: Daniel Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Teddy Bridgewater, Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson. At running back, Clyde Edwards. I wish he had like a nickname. It'd be so much better. Like instead of saying that whole name, like CEH. Yes, CEH. Mike Davis, Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt. I love Kareem Hunt, guys. Antonio Gibson and James Robinson. And then a wide receiver, that guy needs a nickname for sure. Zacchaeus.
Let's go OZ with that.
OZ, yeah. OZ needs he's a good player. Darius Slayton, Robbie Anderson, and DJ Moore. If you guys can't tell, I'm basically naming all the wide receivers that I'm stacking with my quarterback. But if we're going individual one-off, the guys I like is DJ Shark, Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was my top wide receiver play this week. So, yeah, I definitely love him. But those are my guys that are like one-off. At tight end, tight end's going to be really interesting this week because you have Kittle, you have Kelsey, you have Waller. But I like my number 1 tight end would be Waller. Number 2 would probably be Evan Ingram because I have him in my stack. Then Travis Kelsey, Kittle, and Eric Ebron for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's very interesting this week. At defense, I'm paying up this week. With OZ, he's going to give me that ability to do it. So Rams defense, I like them because the Rams, it's raining right now in Washington. And I went to a football game last year or 2 years ago with Jeff and my brother, and we went to watch like San Francisco 49ers with the Washington, well, at that time was the other name, but yeah, it was a sloppy game. I expect rain to be an issue here, but I like the Rams defense. The Steelers defense is incredible. They press their team 50% of the time. That hasn't happened in I believe the last 10 years. I think the stat was or something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on that though, so don't at me.
It sounds convincing if you keep a straight face, though, G.
Yeah.
Hey, G and Jared, I have 2 questions for you. In PP, Zach or Kirk, and then OZ or Kirk, which I'm sure you're going OZ.
I'm OZ for that one, yeah.
And then in PPR, Pascal or OZ?
still saying OZ, though, because it's still going to continue to be a shootout with the Falcons. They don't have a defense, so I still lean OZ. He actually led the team in targets last week. I don't expect that this week, but at least shows that Matt Ryan has confidence and some rapport established with OZ, so I'm still staying there.
G, what do you got?
Well, Jeff just gave me some bad news, but
I'm sorry.
I like Atkin, the tight end for the Texans, but with being out, I'm going to be on Fells now because Fells is more the touchdown red zone guy. But it looks like Atkin's out with a concussion, so I have to switch out some of my Atkin with Deshaun Watson. But OZ on all of those. I'm going for the game that has a better environment and more target. Target is king for wide receiver. Volume is king. So,
quick question for you, G. On your, why are you high on Kareem against Indiana's defense?
Darius Leonard is out, and they also lost another guy. I can't say his name. I can't even remember it, but he was a core player of their defense. So with Darius Leonard and the other guy being out, and that offensive line of the Browns, they're the best offensive line in the league, in my opinion. Probably it's at least top 5. I mean, can't count the Cowboys in there. The Ravens lost Marshall Ojanda. I mean, there's so many other offensive line. I mean, and I'll be honest with you guys. I've watched the Colts offensive line. They haven't impressed me at all this year. They're getting blown up. And a lot of people are talking a lot of crap on Jonathan Taylor not hitting the hole, but those holes are getting, blown up. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I love Hunt this week, and he's also coming in at only 14 to 12% ownership. I expected him to be higher, but I guess people are scared of that run defense or that defense, But
okay.
Well, maybe that groin injury too, G, and maybe they're worried about that resurfacing as well.
I think he'll be fine. I mean, last week they took him out because they took him out in the fourth quarter because they were winning. But what's his name? Dearness Johnson came in and got him. But I think he's fine. I mean, didn't he practice the other day fully?
Yeah, he practiced Friday fully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe people are still talking themselves out of it because of that. I had a question for you too. I know you mentioned the Steelers defense. What about the Cardinals defense going against Joe Flacco of all people?
They're on my list. The thing is, for me, I'm one of those people that I want pressure out of my defense, and the Cardinals defense is not very high up there with, I believe, adjusted sack rate. They're bottom 15. I might be wrong though.
Okay.
I look for sacks, and they're very pricey. They're $4,100. So why pay $4,100 when you have the Rams defense versus Kyle Allen, and then that would Josh Allen. They would be so happy. Kyle Allen, a guy that played for the Panthers last year. I didn't think he looked all that good either. The Steelers defense versus Carson Wentz. We've seen how abysmal the offensive line is right now, and they just lost Jason Peters last week, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So they're even worse. Cardinals defense is 4,100. I mean, they're not coming. They're my fourth highest projected defense. But to me, I want pressure, I want interceptions, and I want bad quarterbacks. I mean, while Flacco is wacko, the Cardinals defense 4,100. I mean, they haven't been all impressive this year. They've had one game. I mean, the last game they got 1 point against the Carolina Panthers. Against Detroit, they got 4 points. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking for upside, man.
Sure.
All right. Marty wants to know, out of these 3, which 2 quarterbacks would you start? Minshew, Breeze, or Big Ben?
Ooh. I think Big Ben.
You have to start. He's starting 2.
Oh.
So you can pick 2 out of the 3.
So Minshew, Big Ben, and
Drew Brees.
Breeze and Big Ben.
Jared?
Same.
I like Minshew, but I mean,
with Minshew even struggling against teams that he shouldn't have even been struggling against, I Sharks back, so it could help. But I believe Michael Thomas playing? I know he was still questionable at the time.
Yeah, he's playing. He practiced everything. Him and Jared Cook practiced. I believe they were fine. The other thing was the Chargers are missing a lot of their defense. I mean, there's a lot of injuries on that defense right now. So I'd rather have Big Ben and Drew Brees.
I would go
and I'm
Brees.
I'm in the same boat, and I think with Michael Thomas, if he ends up coming back to play, which I still see it here as questionable as of 2:22 this morning. So I'm gonna play Brees and Ben here.
Yeah.
Why would Michael Thomas play? Aren't they on a bye week next week?
Well, it's been 3 weeks. I think he hasn't played for 3 weeks now, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
not the first week.
Usually hamstring, like the one that he had, like it's the same one that Godwin had, the same one that Julio has. They usually take 2 to 3 weeks. So, I see that question by Jared. The thing with her is Mike Davis is $100 cheaper. Otherwise, I think you were right, but because of that, I think it hurt. I like Mike Davis too. Like I said, he's a top running back. But my core, like right now, let me see. In my single max tournament, my highest exposure running back is, well, if I could pull it up. There it is. Kareem Hunt, then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mike Davis, James Robinson, Antonio Gibson. And this is kind of crazy, right? Like, I should have mentioned this guy at the top, but Ezekiel Elliott. But, yeah, those are my top guys that I'm really targeting right now.
Jared, don't you play DFS too? What do you have?
If I spouted my lineup off to you, I'd have to. I'm not logged in on my laptop. Let me get back to that. Hang on.
No worries.
But,
go ahead. I'm sorry, G. Go.
No, I'm telling people right now, you're going to want to stack those games like the Giants, Dallas, Carolina, Atlanta, Houston, Jaguars. Houston, Jacksonville, Jaguars. I'm stacking more the Kansas City side, but I don't really see another game that's going to, like, wow, like it went off, Mostert was called active today. I think he's an interesting play, too. Raheem Mostert. He's on 6,100 versus the Dolphins. A lot of people have been asking me about Jimmy G. I don't play quarterbacks that don't throw for more than 300 yards, consistently, usually, or have rushing upside. And multiple wide receivers that I want, But, I mean, if you look at all the quarterbacks I named, Patrick Mahomes, Dak, Deshaun Watson, Teddy Bridgewater. While Teddy Bridgewater didn't throw for 300 yards, he is 5,900. He's cheap. And he threw 300 yards last week, 3 weeks ago against Tampa Bay. But Daniel Jones is a guy that I probably should be excluding, right? But I can't because the Dallas Cowboys defense is horrible. And he's 5,400, really cheap. But it's just Jimmy G coming back from injury. I think they're just going to run the ball, try to ease him in. But Big Ben kind of intriguing too, and Minshew. But I'm really building my core around those 5 quarterbacks that I mentioned.
One of my favorites, he continues to go overlooked, by the way. See if you're with me here on the G, but I actually am big on Will Fuller. He's actually been able to stay healthy since the second week, and the Jags defense isn't exactly what I would say ideal for the passing game.
Yeah, I love Will Fuller this week. I think with him and DJ Chark, it was very close for me. Like I said, some of the guys I like was Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, DJ Chark, and Will Fuller. Those were the guys that I'm really going to rotate in as other top-tier wide receivers. I tell people, like, before it used to be when Will Fuller played without DeAndre Hopkins or something like that, and healthy. Now, if Will Fuller is not questionable, game time decision, if he's healthy, he usually has a great game. And we've seen, 25 points last week. He got 7 for 6, 108, and a touchdown. I love Fuller in this environment. I don't see anybody that can really cover him on Jacksonville Jaguars. They're pretty bad. And run it back with DJ Chark because that's going to be a good stack and good game environment.
Agreed. And I think another one that I guess you could say is a risk play, but high reward that I'm large on too. Gladys, to kind of go back to the point, the majority of the names that G already said, I pretty much already have in my lineup already. But one he did mention I'm gambling with is one James Conner. So I feel like he's got that RB1 upside. For me, I mainly do FanDuel, so his salary is only $7,000, great in the budget range, and just the last 2 weeks, 22.9 and 19.1. So pretty good value there. So I like Connor, and being a Steelers gal, I think you appreciate that.
Yeah, I like Connor this week. I think he's going to be very low owned. I think if you guys seen over the last 4 weeks. Probably last week it was Joe Mixon. The week before that was Austin Eckler. The week before that was Aaron Jones. All these low-owned running backs being going off for 25, 30 points.
Right.
The two guys I was looking that could do that was James Conner and James Robinson. But I actually like James Robinson more. So that's definitely a great call because they're both about the same price, $6,900 and $6,700. But, I mean, we've seen what's their name? Houston has allowed. I mean, they've allowed everybody to run all over them. They haven't stopped anybody. But, yeah, great call right there, man.
Thank you.
Quick before you go, G, do you have any advice for those playing redraft?
Redraft. Right now, I think if you have a league that doesn't have IR spot, one, leave that league because they should have planned this out before the season. Two, if your league manager is not implicating, I like to call it the COVID-19 replacement list. So basically every morning, like today I said, when they announced that the Broncos and the Patriots, what game was it? Broncos and Patriots was going to be probably postponed. I said basically both games have your replacement in before 11 a.m. Mountain Time, which is my time, obviously, on your list, and I'll replace your players once you, it lock. Or once if the game happens or not happen, we'll call it the replacement list. Really, people should be doing that. I have a league manager in one of my Yahoo leagues. He did none of that. And I told him straight up, hey, man, I'm out. Next year, I'm out. And the crazy thing is I placed either first place, second place every year in that league. But to me, I like a league manager if I'm going to join to be appreciative of his league, take care of his people, I take care of my people. I have 4 leagues that I run and I went and did that, and I have all this DFS stuff. I have all this, but it's just it's fun, when your league manager doesn't make you take off a little bit of stress off you, But in redraft, sell Mike Davis right now. I'm telling you guys right now. Try to sell him because you're not going to get anything back when CMC comes back. I just sold him for Zach Ertz in my home league, so I was very happy with that. James Robinson's the real deal. Kareem Hunt, top 10 running back the rest of the way, man. It's just until I don't think Chubb injury is going to be only 6 weeks. I think it's more serious than people think. But it's Antonio Gibson season. It's coming.
Yeah, that's actually that was actually one of the things that I think we can rejoice together, G, that he's finally due. I think his touches continue to escalate, and if you know anything about Kyle Allen playing in Carolina with Rivera and how much he dumps off to running backs, I think we have a lot to look forward to with Antonio Gibson. So right now, nothing mouth-watering, but a respectable 4.2 average yards per carry this year. 4 receptions, 82 yards last week. So there's definitely the upside there. So I'm a believer. I think finally I'm a believer. Weeks 1 through 2, I was shooting you away.
Well, we thought, I think with Antonio Gibson, it's more about opportunity than anything. He got a lot of workload last week, and he did what he was supposed to do, right? I mean, he got, 13 carries. He got 5 targets, 4 receptions, 82 yards. I mean, so that would be
17 touches last week, yeah.
I mean, and he's only getting more touches every week. If they can be more consistent with it, and that was against Baltimore, a pretty good defense. Supposedly, I don't know if they are anymore, to be honest with you guys. But I think this week he had a little bit. It's just you could have bought him like 2 or 3 weeks ago a lot cheaper than what you're going to buy him next week. I guarantee you that, because everybody's going to be like, oh, the breakout is here. But I'm just hoping it breaks out. It happens because I have a lot of him in DFS. So if he goes off, I'm going to win money. So all right, I got to get out of here. You guys take care.
Fantasy G, where can we follow you at?
The Fantasy G podcast, the Fantasy G pod on Twitter. Facebook is the DFS Roundtable / DraftKings FanDuel. Follow me on there. On Tuesday, I do the Waiver Wire show. Tune in, ask questions, and obviously here. And Friday, we do the DFS show. Take care. Good luck. I hope all you guys win your season long and you win your money in DFS. Much love. Peace.
Bye. Thank you.
And it's like Joe Dirt says, life's a garden, dig it. To hook on to his point about the Ravens D, they're actually only allowing 4 yards per carry and only has allowed 3 rushing touchdowns this season. So a little bit of risk there, but again, opportunity and target share and things of that nature is what makes him a viable play. So just in case anyone's wondering.
What? Tell me who your fantasy started quarterback is this week for redraft.
This is so weird to say, but I'm mimicking. It's like the echo in the hallway again with G. So Teddy Bridgewater. It's weird to say that. I didn't expect myself to really ever say that, but it seems as though he's settling into the offense, and he's got a nice tandem there with Moore and Robbie Anderson, and even Mike Davis is getting his touches and what have you. He's still spreading those targets around between Moore and Anderson as they're both about equal in targets. I think Anderson's out targeting him by 1 this season so far, up to this point.
Yeah, Anderson leads the team in targets, yards after catch, and receptions. But I think it's only a matter of time before they both get up there. And they're playing against Atlanta this week, right? Yeah, and the Falcons have allowed the most. I was going to go Teddy Bridgewater, but since you did, I'm going to go Justin Herbert. I think I think that Monday – the only thing that bothers me is I don't really like playing a quarterback on a Monday night game, especially during COVID. But Herbert's he has had 300 yards in every game except last week, and he had 290. He is running the ball slightly. He's had a couple of touchdowns. I just like Herbert against that defense that has not been a New Orleans Saints defense, and they're going to be without Lattimore and Janoris Jenkins.
Yes.
So you need a quarterback, Justin Herbert. Kyle wants to know Myles Gaskin or Kendrick Bourne in PPR.
Who's available on the waiver wire, man?
I would go Myles. I don't trust Jimmy G.
I'm with you.
Anyone other than Kittle, actually. So for that reason, I would go Gaskin. But I don't think either one of them are going to give you much points. What do you got on that one, Jared?
I have to agree with you. Bourne's a red zone threat, but I think that gets siphoned away with Kittle being back. There's a reason why Kittle went 15 targets, 15 catches the last time he's played. So you have to stick with Gaskin just for the fact that, I'll be honest with you. I'm just trying to pull it up here. Last week he had 13 touches. Week before that, 27 touches. Week before that, 13 touches and 13 touches. So it sounds like he has a floor of about 13 touches a game. So it has that RB3, RB4 potential, but San Francisco's nothing to rag on for defense. They tend to stuff the run well, but between the two, I have to say Gaskin too, just for opportunity and him starting. If he can beat out Matt Breida and Jordan Howard, then there's something that we're missing here. So I go with Gaskin.
And he also has Travis Homer and Gio Bernard. I would go with Gaskin. I would go with Gaskin on that, Kyle. I'm sorry about that lineup. So running back. Well, I mean, he probably has
Fuego right now.
No, he probably has people that are, on COVID and injured. I'm sure waiver wire options include waiver wire options include Isaiah Ford and Chris Conley. I would pick up Isaiah Ford personally.
I'm still starting Gaskin though, but yeah. I hate to be short, but yeah.
Okay, who do you have for running back redraft, your starter of the week?
I'm still with James Robinson. I'm torn between him and Gibson. I mean, all the other common sense ones, just to start Zeke, to start Mixon, to start Connor. But I like Robinson a lot, and then I still like Gibson. So again, not to sound like an echo from G, but those are those defenses. The Ravens a little bit more respectable, but Robinson on the Texans, I think you and I could run through it and average at least, 4 or 5 yards a carry. So,
okay, Matt Dahl, Kettle and Cooper, or Elliott and Ingram. I'm guessing he's stacking in DFS. I would go Elliott and Ingram, although I don't understand why it has to be either or. But that's his question: Kettle and Cooper, or Elliott and Ingram. Matt, is that DFS a stack? Is that what you're doing? Because otherwise, I don't understand. But if it is, I'm going with the game that has the most points, supposedly going to have the most points, and that's that Elliott and Ingram game.
Problem with that is, if you're talking Mark Ingram or Evan Ingram, sorry.
Oh, is it a trade? No, that can't be a trade. Because if it's a trade, I won in that league.
Oh, I can see the chat. Evan Ingram, okay. No, I'm still sticking with Kittle and Cooper. Ingram hasn't been one you could trust much. Elliott, kinda, but no disrespect towards G. As crazy as this sounds, the Giants are actually only allowing 3.6 yards per carry defensively, and only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns. So it's crazy as it sounds. That's one thing the Giants have going for them is their run defense. So I'm shying away, not saying that Elliott's not going to put up the numbers, and usually within a rivalry match, the upside's there to go off, but with Cooper and Kittle, you know what you're going to get. No one else is catching the ball other than McKinnon in San Francisco. And then with Cooper, you have that high-paced offense. I don't think Dak hasn't thrown less than, 40, 45 passes in a game. That's plenty to go around, even if he's getting shouted by more of a prime corner. So I'm more comfortable with Kittle and Cooper.
I'm going to disagree and go with Elliott and Ingram only because the over-under in that game is like 54. Dallas is like an 11.5-point favorite. And even if the Giants' run defense is good at stopping, Zeke's been targeted like 30 times. So he's part of that for whatever reason, even though they have 3 great wide receivers and Schultz, he is part of the receiving game. And Ingram he's been targeted 23 times in the last 3 games, and Dallas is giving up a touchdown to the last 3 tight ends they played. So just for the higher ceiling for me, I would go with Elliott and Ingram, but I can see the Kettle Cooper argument, but I'm going to stick with Elliott and Ingram on a stack in a DFS.
And I'm not trying to contradict myself, but I actually have Ingram in one of my DFS lineups today too. So for my FanDuel lineup, so yeah. So yeah, it's a tough spot. I think on paper it sounds more sexy. I'll say for the Kittle and Cooper, but that's where I lean. And of course, Gladys, I have to ask. I'm sure, is Hamid texting you to disagree with me just on his behalf?
No, it's not.
Okay.
He's at the zoo with his family. He's zooing. He doesn't care right now about us. So Matt, yeah, I'm going. Matt, you have 1 Kettle Cooper. You have 2 because Kyle said Kettle and Cooper too, and you have 1 Elliott and Ingram. So. Good luck.
My 3 must starts. So yeah, yes, for the week that was James Robinson. But my 3 must starts that I like is Antonio Gibson, Will Fuller, and Robbie Anderson. I'm not going to beat the dead horse and repeat. My sleepers are Bridgewater, Ingram, so there you go, Gladys. And then OZ, Olamide, Zacchaeus as the deep sleeper for this week. I kind of try to keep it more concise.
Yeah, sure, that was concise. I have no idea what you're doing. Evan Ingram was my deep sleeper and tight end for the week. Todd Gurley for the running back, although I don't know if you consider Todd Gurley a sleeper, so he would just be a start for me for running back in that game. And who did I forget? Evan Ingram, wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb. I like that Dallas Giants game. I also like the Carolina game too, though. So if you're playing DFS, I would go for both those games in stacks. But if you're playing redraft, so here's the problem. In redraft, you're going to have to start getting creative with the COVID going on, because I think people are. I honestly think the Bills game would be played, because I don't think Tennessee has had another outbreak or sighting or COVID, whatever, lately. So, but you're going to have to go on the waiver wire and just get, especially if you're playing IDP, and just get creative, because there are people that are on bye weeks. Now the bye weeks have started, so you're going to have the two teams that are going to have to be on bye week, and then you're going to have the teams that are COVID-related bye weeks. And players are just dropping out of your lineups because their whole team or their team is testing for COVID. I don't even know why. Do we know why the New England Denver game got canceled? Did New England have another outbreak? Because I know Denver has it out here.
Yeah, there was another positive test
In New England.
And then another breaking thing, another staff member tested positive Sunday for the Titans too. So they just keep on getting case after case.
So another staff member tested for the Titans?
Yep.
So that's a Tuesday game anyway. I wouldn't. Yeah, God. Tuesday.
That's gonna be two straight weeks in our writers' league. I'm not even able to start Derrick Henry. That's so annoying.
And I'm not playing you. That sucks.
Just so you know, not to interrupt, but let's see. Cam Akers is still returning this week, so now that makes the Rams' backfield even less appealing. Just FYI, in case everyone was trying to go Darrell Henderson for whatever reasons, injuries, COVID-related. So that could be a little bit of a headache. As we know, Darnold is out. Brashad Perriman is out too. So what's his name? Smith will be coming as a nice deep sleeper target that you might be able to pick up. Jeff Smith, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gladys.
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you want to pick him up. So raise your hand if you're thinking of starting Le'Veon Bell, who just came off of IR.
Who?
The man who hasn't been relevant since he left the Pittsburgh Steelers. That too.
It always seems like anyone who leaves the Steelers becomes irrelevant too. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well, especially if you go to Adam Gase. I think it all depends. If you go to Adam Gase, you become irrelevant, and you know, in that black hole of Adam Gates' offense.
That's where careers go to die.
Yeah. Thank you, Adam Gates. So for your redraft, start at defense. Who did you have?
At defense, I guess the upside really won't be there because they don't have as many sacks. But I was liking the Cardinals against Joe Flacco. But then the Steelers have just been monstrous defensively. I can't remember their quarterback pressure rate, but it's been redonkulous. And that's my number one start this week. What is it?
People are going to have to drop the Bills defense, who are over 50% owned, because, I mean, I would personally drop the Bills defense because they're on a Tuesday. So if you have to pick up a defense on the waiver wire, who are you going to pick up to replace Bills?
It's a floor play, but I'm still going to stick with the Cardinals. I'm doing that actually in one of my dynasty leagues this week, just as a streamer. I'm not going to promise you that they're going to give you 8, 10, 15 points, but they might sneak you in a good 4 or 5 or 6. Just it's Flacco, it's Gase, Perriman's out, even with Bell in. That offense is horrid, so I lean that way.
Okay,
How about you?
See, I have two. I would go the Dallas defense because I don't think, even as porous as they are, I don't see the Giants scoring that much on them. And I see them taking advantage of Daniel Jones. I see them sacking Jones, so you're getting sack points. But there's always that chance that they are as bad as advertised, and Daniel Jones goes off on them. And if that's true, that's incredibly, incredibly sad. The other defense that is like they're 30% owned is if Chase Young is back, I would go with the Washington defense against the LA Rams because Chase Young is the difference maker, even a rookie in that defense, and he has been killing it. So I like the Arizona pick. The only thing that bothers me about Arizona is they're really low on interceptions or sacks? One of those. Do you know which one it is?
It's sacks. They're not that high end, which and that's one of the things I'm saying, it's not going to be a flawless thing. I actually had the Cardinals in both my FanDuel lineups, and I found a way to make put your Steelers in both of them. But yeah, I am in the same exact ship when it comes to. That's what I'm saying. Like you might get more of the points, and then depending on if you're in a league about how many yards you're allowing, and those types of things. The pick six and the interception potential is still there though. And let me check. I think Buda Baker is back as well, which is a huge plus. Let me look.
Okay.
Do you have a sleeper one? Do you have a sleeper defense as well, other than just the high upside?
The Cowboys is my sleeper defense.
Okay.
Because they're like 3% owned, which is understandable. They're horrible. But they're playing a horrible team. I think that the Giants are averaging 17 points a game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to the Arizona defense. Isn't Flacco starting today?
He is.
This is like first start in a year, maybe.
He is. Yep.
And he's in an Adam Gates offense. I guess Arizona would be top there too. Flacco wasn't that great when he was out here in Denver, so. I don't see a resurgence in a one-game start.
And imagine being under Gase. Buda Baker is back. So, as we know, he led the league in tackles for safeties. And then the fifth fewest receptions, too, allowed when targeted. So that is a huge deal for the Cardinals. If nothing else, you have a difference maker there. Not to mention the offensive line is still dinged up. I think Becton is out, and sky's the limits. I don't know. I contrary to what G says, you got Peterson there to pick passes off. You got Byron Murphy there. You've got Jordan Hicks there. If anything, there might be the defensive line as an opportunity, but I say you can stream and start him.
Okay, so also you have with the Broncos and the Patriots postponed, and the Bills and the Titans on Tuesday. You said you have Derrick Henry. Who are you putting? Are you going to take the chance and play Derrick Henry, or are you going to put someone else in?
Again, not to echo like G, but I would hope you're in a league that you can do like a sub type of player where, okay, I want to play Henry, but if it gets postponed or whatever, can you swap them out for me type of thing if he does play? I would really hope that they, whatever league you're in, that you could do that. But deeper sleeper and type of deal, I can't even – I mean, it's tough to replace him. I would say you can look at maybe an Adrian Peterson. I'm not even high on that. Let me see. I think they have a bye this week, though, so not even him. So this is where it gets complicated.
I would think your main recourse would be to try to pick someone up on the Monday night game because in case it's a late drop on the Bills game. So that would leave the rookie from the Chargers, Jackson.
Josh Kelly.
No, Josh Kelly I think is probably owned, but he would be a good pickup. Either Josh Kelly or Justin Jackson are the only two that I could think would be.
Depending on the size of the leagues, yeah, certainly. I agree.
Because you want to keep all the Bills players and all the Tennessee Titan players in as long as you can. And Monday would be probably the deadline for them to know whether or not they're going to postpone that game or not. So you got the Chargers, and I can't think of anyone on New Orleans that would be available for pickup.
No, I think if you want to go deeper, you can look at Chase Edmonds as well, with Drake always dinged up and not doing so hot. I'm not going to say that's more of a deeper play, but he might be able to give you some flex numbers again against the Jets. So you can kind of bully them around a little bit as far as getting a couple receptions.
But that's an early game. That's an 11 o'clock game. Do you want to switch out that early is what I'm saying? What I'm saying is you want to pick someone that's later so you can wait till the longest time.
Sure. No, I was going with the idea, though, if your league manager is letting you if your league manager lets you do that sub out because of the COVID, some leagues are flexible where you want to play, Chase Edmonds, example, over Derrick Henry. Normally you're not going to do that, but just so you can fill that spot, and then if Henry does end up playing, then the manager can swap those around as a courtesy. I guess it depends on your leagues. I'm in a couple where you can do that. Yeah.
So you can pick a player that's playing like early, and that's awesome. My league managers, I don't think any of my league managers are doing that. That's awesome if you could do that. Then
so I guess I'm being selfish and making it about me. I'm sorry. but
no, that's a good call. Chase Edmonds is a good call. If they're allowing you to do that, I would pick up Chase Edmonds because I don't think Kenyon Drake is much longer for the Arizona offense if he keeps playing as poorly as he is playing, which is sad because I have him in 2 leagues, but it's okay. It's not bad.
And then another good option is Phillip Lindsay's coming back from injury, so they're talking about splitting that timeshare again. So Melvin Gordon stocks might go back down a little bit. Pardon me?
That's the postponed game. They're not playing this week.
Oh, that's right. See, I need to just go back to bed and hit reset.
Or you should have just bought the cat, and everything would have been better.
Where's he at anyhow?
I don't know. I haven't seen him today, which is really sad, making my day a little bit sadder than it needs to be. It's okay. So Detroit, Green Bay, Denver, New England. Players in any 4 of those, you need to go to your lineups now and get them out because none of those teams are playing right now. The Buffalo Bills and Titans are a Tuesday game. You need to be on watch for that one because apparently another Titan has tested positive for COVID, which I don't even know what's going on over there in Tennessee because that's ridiculous. This would be 2 weeks in a row that they would have to either give up or forfeit. Or I heard something last night where they were saying that in order to, if Titans keep testing positive, that one of the suggestions was to suspend both Vrabel and the GM and take away draft picks in 2021 to send a message. That's crazy. That's crazy, although you're postponing games because you guys can't keep your mask on and can't not practice when you're supposed to. So we didn't talk about the Minnesota and the Seattle game that much. What do you think of Kirk Cousins in that game? They're going to Seattle, but Seattle doesn't have the 12th man. He's the over and under is 55. Seattle is supposed to win by 6.5 points. I think Cousins is in play.
I was just gonna say I'm with it. The pass defense of Seattle isn't what I would call reliable, and you have Jamal Adams, I think, out again, and I believe I don't know if Delano Hill was playing in, but even their backup's been dinged up, so there's opportunity there.
Up like 500 yards a game.
Yeah, there's great opportunity there. I believe that this might be the week. This is the boomer bust week for Cousins, but I think this week, especially for your Scott Fishbowl, I think you'll be okay playing him.
Ooh. I think I am playing him because I have Tannehill as my other choice. So in the Scott Fishbowl, I am playing Cousins because I have to. And then we talked a little bit about the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh game, but the over-under is like 44, which I think is low for that game. And Pittsburgh is a 7.5-point favorite. I think that the Pittsburgh defense is in play, but I would not start Carson Wentz.
No, I think I will take that number anyhow because I'm going like 31-7, maybe 31-10 Pittsburgh. It's not going to be that high. It's going to be a
Yep.
one-sided affair in my opinion.
But you think Pittsburgh's only going to score like 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, because it's going to be game script. It's going to be game script. Well, they'll start running the ball and chewing the clock up more in the second half. The first half might be more the explosiveness. That's why I said I like James Conner, but I also think that comes with that's why he's my top guy. Whereas like the wide receivers of the Steelers might be a little bit more of a risk play for the second half. I just don't see it being that close of a game where there's going to be a lot of passing. But I think you'll see more action of that in the first half. What about you?
I actually like Deontay Johnson in that game. I have Deontay Johnson in both the redraft and DFS. I think that the Steelers were out last week, not because of anything they've done.
Right.
So I think that Big Ben is going to try to just air it out, and I think they're going to try to embarrass the Eagles. I think they're going to play and keep playing. I do like Connor in the game, but I see them, if they get up, I see Benny Snell coming in and taking some of his snaps just to keep him healthy. So
do we see Benny Snell or do we see McFarland actually? Just a little.
McFarland's a good call. But I still think Benny Snell. But FYI, if McFarland's on your waiver wire, pick him up because I think you can't count on Connor being healthy the whole year, and it would be a Snell. It would be a Snell McFarland backfill. I don't think he'll go with one or the other if it happens to be Connor going out. But,
yeah, I'm worried about Juju as well. I think he's probably going to be more of a wide receiver 18 to 20 range just because Darius Slay is still active and playing. I think that's another reason why I'm actually agreeing with you on the Deontay Johnson, and you might even see James Washington break one down the field as well.
Yeah. All right. So, hold on. I'm sorry. So before we go, why don't you tell people where they can find you and what you do that's so special and where the cat is?
I don't know where he went. He's napping.
You guys, he has a Savannah cat. It's awesome. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, if you go to my page, I still have him as a baby on my little cover photo on my Twitter handle, RICCO_3733 on the Going for Two team. That's simple as it gets. I'm concise today, see.
You are concise today after missing a week. That's okay. And I am at Never Enough GLT on Twitter. You can find me there to talk, and I also do a start sit article for Going for Two that usually drops Thursday afternoon at 11. But if you want to talk IDP and defense, we can do that too. Next week, we will probably have our stats head back so him and Jared can argue over crazy things, which seems to make them both happy. And Going for Two Live is on every day. We have something for you every day. Tomorrow we have the Monday night wrap up, which I'm not even sure what time it's going to be now because of the Monday games. Do we have 2 Monday games still or just one?
As of right now, I thought there was 2. One for 5 o'clock.
Wasn't that the?
I think that was the Patriots Broncos. Though,
yeah,
so,
Patriots Broncos.
So we then have the one.
So we just have the one game, the Chargers and the Saints, which is gonna be off the hook. But Kyle, Senra, and the B League will both be on to tell you everything you need to know about the Monday night game and the Giants and the Green Bay Packers. And I'll be there too to talk about the Steelers. Are you on another one? Are you on another podcast, Jared?
No, not currently.
No. Okay. So, and we have the Fantasy G is on the Tuesday Waiver Wire podcast. Anytime. Tune in for us anytime, and you can hear anything you want to hear and ask any questions you want to hear. It's been a pleasure. Good luck in your leagues. Remember to keep your players out that if they're not playing. And good luck in DFS. Jared, you got anything else?
Just keep on keeping on. Kick some tail, make some cash.
Bye, guys. Thanks.